This is nothing but that sports talk.
Welcome to another episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. Rafique Louison, Ryan Walker on hand, and we got to break down everything that happened this past week. I mean, well, I already talked about the New York Liberty struggles with my episode of Miles Early. You can check that out on my YouTube channel. But I want to get your thoughts on everything that you witnessed coming out of the All-Star break with the Sylvia Fowles dunk and, of course, the first few games of the season.
Very good stuff for ladies basketball, women's basketball in general with the All-Star break. Sylvia Fowles going penthouse on them, doing a little top floor action, and a good way for her to go out with her in her last season as a retirement as well. Extraordinary career, right? 20 years, right? Miss Fowles and gold medal Olympian, WNBA champion. I don't get me wrong. Did she get a league MVP at her time? She was very dominant.
Yes, she did.
She got a league MVP. I'm pretty sure All-Star Game MVP at some point. So she's phenomenal career. Also too for what she does. For the girls game. Sometimes we try to look at the guards more that lead the team. Sometimes we forget about the big girls, the big ladies per se, and how they play in the post and the block. And Sylvia was kind of that old school one where, she could get to the backs of the basket. She could face you up as well doing face, but she played with a lot of brute and physical force. And, so that was good for the WNBA. And the game was good in general. And, starting off coming back into the season for our own local perspective, I just, watched some of the game as it was replayed. I believe it was Friday. Was that Thursday? It might have been Thursday when I was at the job. And, to watch the Liberty is like, remember we said that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing with them. I mean, you played so, I just don't know how to evaluate them. But, the only clear evaluation that I can get, clearly that I know I've been through that from, the second year with new coach, and is that they're rebuilding somehow, some way, whether we like it or not. You know what I mean? And what are they, 9-15 at this point? They're like second to
They're like
last.
9-14.
Yeah.
They're like 8-13. But then again, I mean, if you pay attention to my interview with Miles early thing, you know that it's mostly because of the fact that Sabrina Ionescu has a tough time like getting up and down the court from a speed perspective. I mean, and she does tend to have alt nights, even though she is in the top 3 in 3-pointers made along with Sarah Diggins-Smith. And then not to mention the fact that their team is still growing. Aside from that one playoff game they had only because of the scenario cases, the team is still growing.
Right. That's 100%. So, that just goes to, make the microcosm where they played the Aces last week and played the Aces at their house and beat the Aces in a very, very, solid victory for them. And then a couple of days later, they played the Aces at home, and we all know how that one went.
Yeah. To think that the camp children had to get up in the morning to watch that.
It was great. We were talking about it too. But it was great that the kids had the experience. Boy, I'm glad maybe a lot of them probably wasn't as basketball savvy. And I'm probably was to know what was going on. Like the announcer said they probably was cheering for both sides. But boy, the Liberty got beat really bad by Vegas. And that was the reality check to say that there's a lot of strides to go and they're rebuilding. There's and we as we evaluate, there's things they got to look at too, injuries or not. Is Sabrina the guard that's going to lead you to the promised land? Do you still give her time? Do you add another really good lead guard in the future with her? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you add another player that possibly forward to center wise or forward in general that can take some of the load and the pressure off her, if you understand what I mean? And Sabrina's a good player, but I could tell just from my eye test so far that it's going to take more than just her to get the Liberty to be a really good team. And it's kind of bad because when they don't do well, and especially if she plays, the big spotlight is on her. But there's no way she can do it. She's not She's not a Candace Parker in her prime. She's not a Lisa Leslie in her prime. A Cheryl Swoops, a Cynthia Cooper, a Maya Moore. You see the realms that I'm going here. She's not that girl that's going to come in and she's going to lead you to the Eastern Conference Finals or the WNBA Finals. You understand that? Those girls we just named, those are franchise turning players where they step into a team and everything changes, where they can lead that team. Sabrina's not going to be that.
Exactly.
She now with 2-3 other really good girls can take the liberty to be very, very good because there's things that she does well. She does shoot the three well. She does play pretty well all around. We know that she got a triple-double, so we know that she can touch other facets of the game. So she can do that, but she's not the one that's going to, where you're saying we're building around her, and yes, that's not going to happen with her.
Exactly. And she's also not Tamika Catchings either. And we saw how, and I remember watching some of Tamika Catchings games when she was the franchise point guard for that Indiana Fever team when they were making playoff appearances during her tenure. I mean, they've actually had some playoff series wins against New York Liberty too, including most recently 2015, where they were in the WNBA Finals, only to get taken out by a Sylvia Fowles-led Minnesota Lynx. And after Tamika Catchings retires, they weren't good ever again. They only won 5 games.
The Sue Birds, the Diana Taurasi,
She's
those
type
of players. Yet. There you go. Those type of girls, Brittany, what I mean? Not to bring that up, but those type of ladies can come and impact your organization hugely where you can say, and you know what? Well, we got a chance at it this year. These girls can take us that far. And as you said, as good as Sabrina is, she's not that girl that's going to do it by herself. So I think as tough as we might be still on her, it's a little bit bad to put the whole onus on her because she's good, but she's not that. And then she just needs a lot of other things to work out well too in order for them to be really successful.
Exactly. And if this first 2 seasons of Sabrina Ionescu and the New York Liberty taught me anything, is that she wasn't always the way she was when she had that 1 Final Four appearance like in 2018 and then 2019, 2019 and when 2020 she had that phenomenal year that got shortened due to COVID. She wasn't always like that. She had to work on her game.
Absolutely. And stay in condition. Which is key too, being out.
Exactly. She may have to play some pickup games at Rucker Park, like what was going on with the TBT tournament, and if she's ever going to get to that Antaras Super level. She may have to do that, but whatever. It's up to her.
Absolutely.
On the other hand, the New York Knicks are in the NBA championship summer league.
Really?
But let me ask you, they're facing the Portland Trailblazers tomorrow at 3 p.m. Literally. But let me ask you this one question. As a New York Knicks fan, the way that we were struggling to even get any kind of success, any postseason success, would you take a summer league championship?
No, stop it. No. It's good for the kids. The young kids there, that's good for them. At the camp, that's because they have some good young kids on there. The Bride, back when some of the cool kids that came down there, Sims is doing well, of course, jumping all over the place. So the young kids are doing well. Trevor Keels, I seen down there. It's good. So that's good. See, I don't even know why you bring it up because now this is very tough to evaluate. If they win tomorrow, and thank you for enlightening me that they're in the Summer League Championship because trust me, it was not one of the biggest issues that I'm worried about in life to worry about as a concern for the New York Knicks. So the New York Knicks are in the Summer League Championship, and if they win tomorrow, you see how this is gonna go. That's the worst thing if they win tomorrow, though, because now the ideology is going to be that the Knicks have a lot of good young youth, right? Mm-hmm. If that's what 2 + 2 is 5. So you're supposed to say that if they win or if they even lose, right? there is supposed to be something there. The question is, are you going to bring these kids up who maybe show the potential, and are you going to play them? Now, here goes the other thing that I always be very careful with Summer League, and even the G League too, even though the G League G League only gets us a little bit, because the G League is elite, and that's the next. Not saying the Summer League is not. Of course, these are NBA pros. But you have to remember that there are levels. So, yes, Summer League, you playing against guys that got drafted or bounced around G League or overseas or whatever, but you're not playing against live pro NBA competition. So playing there, you scoring 35 and 10, just example, in Summer League, he's killing. That doesn't mean you're scoring 35 and 10 when the first game of the season comes for the NBA. Because one, you got other hordes that are out here that's been doing this forever, and then it's a different level when now you have to score against somebody and you're guarding somebody that can score just as well as you too. So remember, and then it's such a fighting pot because the G League and Summer League is good for development and stuff, and guys are getting a form of some kind of course economics to do so, but everybody's fighting for a spot. Everybody's trying to get to the pros or get something, overseas or something where somebody looks at them and can give them another payday, right? So the Knicks winning is going to mean nothing because they're not going to play most of those kids that probably come up and do anyway. Maybe Sims. There's a lot of kids that they're still talking about in trades. So who even knows if any of those kids that are there are going to be a part of the nucleus? And it means nothing. They have not won the final since 1973. It is going to be 2023. That is going to be 50 years.
Okay, Stephen. Okay, I get it. But you gotta be mindful of the fact that even during my first year watching the NBA, I do realize that we as hardcore NBA fans, we starving for NBA content. When the regular season, the finals pass, you get the Summer League. When the Summer League passes, you get the pros playing for gold medals at the USA games. And then when that passes, of course, you have the preseason, the regular season. So somehow, some way, at least once every few months, you watch some NBA content. I mean, what is this? The NBA bubble?
Well, the wubble. It's good. No, listen, for the kids, for the young kids, that was bad, but I'll just be poo-pooing. For the young kids, it's good. There's a lot of good kids that we have on the younger squad. Quentin Grimes is playing very well. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. McBride is playing very well. Sims is playing very well. Trevor Keels gets the time to develop. There's a lot of other kids that are playing very, very well. And it's good for them for that, most definitely. So listen, yes, there is some kind of consolation for it, beginning at the fact that we've been absolutely anemic forever. And so that part is good and it's good for the kids. And hopefully they can use that as a building block. But it also seems that the Knicks are still in the works of adding different pieces or attempting towards what the roster will be in about 2-3 months.
Exactly. And you know what? I agree with you. I mean, most of the players are in the Summer League roster, a potential Summer League championship roster. They're probably not going to be on the roster forever because they're working on getting Donovan Mitchell to come to the New York Knicks. And if they were to pull off this Donovan Mitchell trade, how will that affect the New York Knicks going forward?
Well, a lot of guys will be shifted around. You hear, potentially, you hear McBride's name brought up in the deal. You hear Obi Toppin's name brought up in the deal. You hear, who else did I hear them say? I heard Quentin Grimes as well. I heard, they want multiple draft picks. Some of those numbers got to go down in regards to how many, because if we're going to give them that many ready-made players, how many you can't get 6 draft picks. But I figure sure that's probably what they're working out or whatever. But there's a lot of those guys that from that core that might not be there because of that. Obi's definitely a first piece. Those are one of the first things a lot of guys are asking for. So if we're going to give you this, right, unless we want that young guy to be there, McBride is developing. You never even know, even the Trevor Keels, like, listen, if they get the opportunity and it sounds right, they're going to move the right guys around to make that deal. We'll see if it happens. may happen. But they did get Jalen Brunson.
Exactly.
A lot of people are probably not too great on Jalen Brunson. And listen, the book is still open too. I think Jalen Brunson is a fine player. I think he can do very, very well, but he still has to show that he can do very well here because, listen, no disrespect. Playing Dallas is playing for Dallas and playing for New York is different. It's two different things.
Exactly. It's tough to throw the ball to RJ Barrett.
Yeah, right. And the playing in Dallas, especially with them down there, remember, they had Jason Kidd down there who was down there as the first year head coach, I believe, right? As Rick Carlisle, whatever, or his second year, or the kid is relatively new. And Jason Kidd, not towards coaching, but the Mavericks. And Jason Kidd is very, very smart and free and open offensively, especially with how he plays, up and down and stuff. So the floor is spread. You already know that the ball ends and starts with Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is a phenomenal player, can do so many things. But throughout the season, and slowly throughout Brunson's career with the development, throughout the season, Brunson now has shown himself as a player in this league to do numbers. The postseason magnifies that even more, right? But that is Dallas with that offensive system there, with the freedom and him developing, compared to now, you're going to be in New York and you're going to have a microcosm on you bigger because you're playing for a big market. Not to say that Dallas is not. The epicenter of sports in Dallas is around their football team. So if the Mavericks do well, that is not to say that Mavericks basketball is not important, but in Dallas, the only thing that's the first important is the Cowboys, right? So in New York, good or bad, basketball is important here. The Knicks are a conversation. So now you're paying for this multimedia. You're making $110 million. Yes, he's getting paid, but also too, we guys got to think about it. Compared to NBA standards, he is getting paid nothing. There are guys making $44, $47 million a year. There's guys making $200, $300 million, okay, in the NBA. So for what he deserved and he earned, everybody on both sides got the right deal. Sometimes when they say that with Julius Randle, we're paying all this money. Julius Randle's getting paid $18 million a year. That is a lot of money in life, right? But for NBA, remember, John Wall made $44 million last year.
Just to do nothing. Nope.
Yeah. Russell's making $47 million this year.
Horrific for the Lakers.
Yeah. Durant gonna make, you know what I'm saying? These guys, Kyrie, he re-upped in because you know why? He won that $37 million. Bradley Beal did the same thing. They're like, he don't want to win. Yeah, but he want to get paid. So these are the only person this offseason that made that idiotic decision. And there's got to be something different behind going on closed doors between Daryl Morey and James Harden, because not saying those numbers, I'm saying because they have a history from Houston. So I'm pretty sure Daryl Morey is going to take care of him differently, because he was the only fool that refused $47-something million on the op-ed to help the Sixers get a winning team. Listen, take your money. Let the organization worry about that. You know what I mean? Regardless of how many friends or whatever friends is, because the money is there. That money don't be there forever. So, but nevertheless, Brunson is there. He'll make an impact, but this is New York. The lights are going to be on you. Different pressure here, different offensive structure, what they run with Tom Thibodeau, different flexibility. We'll see, though. His dad played there. His dad is in the organization. They got a good ear. They might work things out, but, they still need other keys to work with that. Let's see if this Mitchell trade works out. Let's see what else the Knicks are going to do. Yeah,
that's a fact, because it's the New York Knicks we're talking about here. If you want Donovan Mitchell and pair him up, they might make a great combo point guard duo, but who's to say it's not going to be like what Carmelo Anthony was like 3 years into that whole era? I mean, seriously.
Speak, hold up 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me take care of this thing right here. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
No problem. Yeah, this is a tricky situation for the New York Knicks. I mean, are they going to be back? Or are they going to get back to being the playoff team we saw in 2021? Or are they going to sink in 2022? But if eye test says otherwise, they're probably going to go through another rebuild. We'll suffer a little bit more. But we'll get out of it. I mean, look at the Milwaukee Bucks. They won a championship for the first time in 50 years, like a few years ago. So,
I mean, we have to make the right decisions. And I don't know. I think Brunson is going to work out. So that's why I'm not as distraught as some people are about it. But they have to continue to make the right decisions. They got to continue to grow. They got to continue to build. They got to have a certain type of way and not just give up on it right away. And I don't know. Who knows how they're evaluating Thibodeau and Leon Rosedale. I'm not saying they're doing an egregious job. I'm just saying that, eventually we got to see if this is going to work. And when my guy brought it up to me with something else the other day, and so I said, listen, can we just not talk Knicks basketball now? Can we talk about the Yankees and the Mets who are doing good? And can we talk about the Giants and Jets football that's coming up?
I'm going to do you that favor. You know what? I'm going to do you that favor right now. No need to cut you up. I'm going to do you that favor right now because, the Yankees are struggling. They lost the series. They split with the Red Sox last week. They lost the series to Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati, a team that started 3-17. They were out of the playoffs before it even got to the month of May. And they took 2 out of 3 in Bronx. I mean, granted, the AL East has already won. The playoffs.
Let's not say that.
And we haven't even got to the month of August yet. They're up by 12 games over the Red Sox, who did manage to get that embarrassing win yesterday in extras with that, thanks to that wild pitch at the top of the 11th. So, how disappointing is it that the Yankees lost 2 out of 3 to Cincinnati, split with the Red Sox last week, and they lost the first game last night?
Well, unfortunately, but fortunately, baseball, the MLB baseball is the only thing that where it's truly, what they say, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And unfortunately, when you play 162 games, no matter how dominant or good you are during the season, you've seen the Seattle Mariners have the all-time record with wins. We've seen the Yankees had it at one point, but the Mariners broke it. So the team in 99 or 98. We've seen the Mariners had another time when they came back at it again. We've seen a few, the Dodgers a few years ago, 100 and we've seen many teams have of times like that. But you see, here goes the thing: when you play 162, somehow, some way during that stretch, you're going to have games where you don't play well. You know what I mean? It's in Dave. We can really say that, and even in the first week and a half of the season, a week and a half, 2 weeks, the Yankees were even keel. They weren't like they were bad, but we can say that they've been pretty much dominant the whole first half of the season, excluding the last 9 days, right? 9-10 days. So that's the time. You can win 9 and lose 6. You know what I mean? Like that's how baseball really can get scary when it's spiraling. And it's not like sometimes you watch it in basketball where a shooter goes through a slump and has 3 or 4 really bad games, or maybe even more, and has a slump and kicks into it. Boy, in baseball, when you're not hitting, boy, you can have a really tough 2 for 60 stretch. You know what I mean? 10 for the last 90. You know what I'm saying? It can, before things click in. If you're a pitcher and you start hitting a bad spot, starting, bullpen, whatever, and it's no excuse. At the end of the day, the Yankees played before the 4-game stretch before Boston, the Yankees was playing their usual really good baseball. They did have a time where, of course, they played the Astros in a series, I think, wrap around, and the Astros, they split with the Astros 2-2. And then they played Tampa, and they beat Tampa, but then they played the Astros again for 1 game, and then they lost, and they went, and they won some games against Cleveland or somebody, and then or whoever was in that stretch, and then they had the Boston series, and they won the first 2 games of the Boston series, and then lost the last 2 games of the wraparound series. Then they walked into let's suppose that would have been flipped. If they'd have lost the first 2 games of the Boston series and then won the last 2, and then went into Cincinnati and then not lost 2 out of 3, it might not have seemed that bad. You know what I mean? But the fact that the 2 losses happened at the end, then you come home against Cincinnati, who you're listen, they're all professionals. And then here goes the reality of it too. and I tell these guys this stuff with the NFL season, it's not necessarily the team you lost to that's really bad. It's when you played them. Cincinnati, actually, they decided to wake up in the last week because they've been piss poor the whole entire year. But they do have bats down there. They have Mike Moustakas. They have guys in their lineup that we've seen it. They hit 4 straight home runs off Lee Trevino in one game. So they played well in that stretch. We let ourselves down. That's no excuse. You're not supposed to lose 2 out of 3 to that team at home. And then you do that. And then now you go down to you play, you're at Boston at home and you lose a very close game last night in extra innings, which, it would be nice if they can end out the rest of the All-Star break, going into the All-Star break with winning these last 2 games from Boston to kind of get the interesting sour taste out their mouth. But in hindsight, for the first part, they've done absolutely phenomenal. They have the best record in baseball. They're up 12 games from the team that they're playing currently right now. And I think excluding the Houston Astros and maybe the Dodgers, I don't think no team in baseball wants to play the New York Yankees. And the Mets might, because they're very confident and arrogant for that, and they have a lot of talent. I won't say that per se, but I don't think deep down inside they really want to. I think they want to try to prove they're probably the big dogs, but no other team in baseball, excluding the Houston Astros, puts any scare into me to say that the Yankees should be afraid.
The Astros have a knack for beating up New York teams. They swept the New York Mets twice. Seriously.
They did. Yeah, they did. They did.
And they're somewhat dominant against the Yankees, but you know what? I wouldn't hold my head saying that I don't want to play the Astros because like you said a few episodes ago, you probably felt the same way when it was Los Angeles Angels where you finally defeated them in 2009. So don't think they can happen this year.
No, I want to get them. I want to play them in the playoffs, and I would love for them to finally to exercise that demon and eliminate them. That shut a lot of critics down. So we'll see. They've been. Hopefully, they can get these next 2 games because, like you said, they have not been playing too well the last week and a half. Jameson Tyone has hit a bad stretch in pitching as well too. So they have to figure out what's going on with him. Servino is now on the DL 15 days, which makes sense. Give him some rest on that arm as well going into the All-Star break as well. The last start against Cincinnati wasn't too great. 4 straight home runs, and they eventually by the break. I hope they see that they probably could use another starting pitcher, like a veteran guy, just who could throw arms and get in there. It would be nice to add another guy in the pen. And if you can get a right-handed bat, I think they have enough array with left-handed bats, especially with picking up Matt Carpenter, also to the lineup. I think if they can get a nice right-handed power bat, utility guy that also can hit the ball for contact, that'd be very good for their baseball team.
Exactly. And you know what? I wouldn't have panicked yet, Yankees. Unless somehow the Red Sox or the Blue Jays or the Rays or the Baltimore Orioles, after the way they've been playing recently up until they lost to Tampa Bay, get within like 2.5 games, like what the Braves did with the New York Mets, where they were losing by as many as just 10.5 games going to like June 1st. I would not panic just yet.
No,
I would not.
Well, that's what I got this guy the job. He's a physical therapy guy. He comes in, his name is David. And we always talk baseball the last 2-3 years. So he's one of those Mets fans. They'll come in and be like, oh, okay. So I seen him like a week or 2 ago. And this is before they had this bad stretch. And like this at this time, they're up 14 games rather than 12 games. And because at one point it was like 15.5 to 16 games they were up. And then he didn't say anything to me about baseball. He was like, Ryan, I said, I ain't saying that. And it's not that the Mets are playing bad. He's the Mets fan. The Mets are playing very good. They have injuries, some interesting things going on as well too. But some guys coming back, yeah. But he didn't say anything, and I said, listen to me. Honestly, between summer basketball right now and WNBA basketball and the other stuff we're entertaining to in the summertime, the Yankees are so up right now that I don't even watch the games. I just just tune into the score and see what's up, and then go through the highlights again, and then microcosm and look through it later. Because I ain't gonna kill myself when they up 12 games, bro. You know, call me when they down 4. Call me when the lead gets to 4. Then I'm gonna start being nervous. 5, 6. You know, that's 1, 2 series away. But they're playing so well. They're going to the break so well that that's only a panic button if that number goes to like 5. So they just need to, if they stay even a little bit above average going into after the All-Star break, they'll qualify and win their division.
That's all it takes. Now, on to the New York Mets, even though they still, aside from the losses to the Astros, they've been playing well as of late. Well, they managed to get 2 out of 3 Cincinnati, and well, they won the series against the Atlanta Braves just to stay on top of the division, maintain that 2.5 game lead, and even defeat the Chicago Cubs, well, the night before last night because, well, they couldn't play the last game because of the rainouts. New York Mets offense is just too OP as hell.
Well, they have a good offense. That's what it is. They can pound the ball. They have the different philosophy with Buck Showalter there, who's gonna bring different things to it. Buck Showalter's always had teams that for the most part can hit, and Buck Showalter's issue in the past has been his interesting X and O's decisions during certain times of crucial games and so on and so forth. And as phenomenal as he's been in his career to still be a great manager who still has not won a World Series yet. So, but they're hitting the ball very well. They just need, Scherzer, of course, back 100%, and DeGrom's supposed to be coming back soon. And even that, you got to see how DeGrom looks after that, coming off the injury, going right into the fire, so on and so forth. Same thing with Scherzer. So, but they've had some other pitchers that they like and depend on. That now is starting to show, starting to get beat up a little bit. And that's the biggest thing with the Mets. As I said, I think the Mets are they're so good that their biggest thing is just to keep the same pace they have. And when they play those quality teams in the National League to win those series, because besides that, they should be fine. Atlanta is on their behind, and they found a way to make Atlanta creep back up into this, even though they did beat Atlanta to kind of give some separation and also to say, we know you guys are good, but we might be a little bit better than this year. But that still remains to see for the rest of the season. And God forbid if they were ever to match up in the playoffs per se. But they should be fine. If they blow the division, boy, will it be a topic of conversation? And it would. If the Yankees blew the division, which I don't think will happen, and we don't usually do that crap in our history, like 14, 12 games, it's usually a wrap. That'd be a big conversation because of the numerical number and the talent. But the fact that the Mets are in a division where they're clearly, besides Atlanta, they're better than every other team. And then when you look at the National League, the best teams in the National League right now are the Mets, the Dodgers. Huh?
They said the Dodgers.
The Mets, the Dodgers, and Atlanta. And Milwaukee keeps a good brand because they're well managed with Craig counseling them, and they've been consistent the last few years. But I don't think Milwaukee can beat any of those 3 teams that I just named personally in the series that I just named above. So with those 4 teams right there, and remember, the Dodgers are in the NL West. So the Dodgers and the Mets only probably can play 7 times a year because of the West Coast thing, right? And the Braves, you play more in your division. So you only have 1 team in your division, that's good. So let's suppose the Braves and Atlanta, the Braves and the Mets, play 18 times, right? In your division, right? If the Mets win 10 times and the Braves win 8, you'll take that. So that means when you play the Marlins,
the Nationals, and the Phillies. The Phillies. Those are 3 teams that
18 times. You're supposed to beat them like 14, 15 times. The Mets own the Phillies, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Phillies want no problems with them, right? I don't even know if the Nationals are still a professional team. So if you have a problem beating them, then you have a problem, right? And then the Marlins, We see that ship has went and failed again. GD left. So come on now. What's 18? What's 18 times 3?
18 times 3.
3 times
Yeah.
24. 1 times 3 is what's that? 54.
Yeah, about 54. So around those realms.
All right, so you got 54 wins. Remember, there's 162 games. So I'll break it down. You got 54 wins you should get against the Marlins, the Nationals, and the Phillies, right?
Mm-hmm.
You already halfway there. If you go 10-8 against the Braves, that's 64.
Actually, 18 times 3 is literally 18 times 3 is literally 44.
44? Not 54. All right, 44.
44.
So that's 40.
Because we multiply 8 by 3, it gives you 20. It gives you 24. For 3 by 1 equals 3. Add the 1, it gives you 4. That's 44 right there.
Good, great. My arithmetic is bad. You know, I dropped out in second grade. Second grade, I said, listen, it's over. All right?
Really?
You're 40, yeah, no, hell no. 40, 44 is a good number. You get that 44 wins, Steve. You add 10 against the Braves. You get the tough team in your division, right? 54 wins. Now you got to get at least 35, 40 more wins to at least think about the playoffs. Really? Cincinnati? Listen, excluding the Yankees take up last week. Really? If you play Cincinnati, you should be winning those series, right? If you play the Cubs, you should be winning those series, right? If you play the NL East has, all right, the Cardinals and the Brewers, and Central, excuse me. Besides that, every other team in NL Central stinks.
You think? I mean, you're in the middle of facing Chicago Cubs. You should at least win 3 out of. You should at least can't split with the Chicago Cubs. No problem.
Yeah. The Padres won no problems with the Mets.
They won a series against them.
The Padres won no problems.
They won a series with the Giants. Won a
San
series with them.
San Francisco can give the Mets trouble and always has. But besides that, they're going to dominate everybody else in the National League. That's halfway there. If they blow that division, wow. If they don't go to the postseason, forget, because mathematically the Braves can still win the division. But if they still don't even qualify for a wild card, let me tell you something.
I think the Mets will still be in the postseason. And I was getting ready to say before you started, I was getting ready to say, even if the Mets do slip to the wild card, they're going to be in the postseason no matter what. It's just a matter of where they're going to finish. Will they get it? Will they be one of the top 2 teams in the National League just to avoid the wild card games, or will they slip to the wild card not to play a 3-game series? Because I just pretty much announced the structure of the postseason this year. So,
but both teams are doing well and put themselves in good position. They just got to just keep the boat flowing throughout the second half. Pray to the injury guys to not get as much injured as possible, and see where the cards lay at the end of the year. With if the cards could be right, it would be nice to have a very New York World Series. That's very difficult to always happen on both parts and sides, but if it did come that way, it would be. All I know is this: New York would be very divided for about 2 weeks.
yeah, they really could. On to the next topic. Well, obviously, you were out in Streetball with Crunchtime and Dyckman. Why don't you tell me about the best things you saw at Dyckman and Crunchtime this week? The best and worst.
Oh man. Well, first thing, with Crunchtime, what we're doing is phenomenal. We've actually been doing. We had a really cool thing on Thursday where we had games in the Queens Gym. We had games at 110 Atlantic Avenue, the Boys and Girls Center of Metro Queens. And during the Tuesdays and Thursdays, and on Sundays we have games at Massapequa, 5600 Old Sunrise Highway in Long Island, Massapequa, and at the old field house. So we had that on Thursday. We had games at both sites. It was pretty cool. But we had good games on Sunday as well. Slim came down. It was a very good weekend because I did a classic with my guy on Saturday, the walk for it all, which is an event to help people with cancer. And his grandfather had passed away last year for cancer, so they do this group and this foundation for a while. They had a walk with it, so that was good. I did on Saturday, but Crunchtime had a team in there that won the championship. So Crunchtime was very good on Sunday. We're doing very well for ourselves, and continuing to get the name out there. There were some really good games with Team Underrated, the family, and we always have Juice and Lee playing there, and very good teams there. Back to business, a lot of really good teams in the league. Players from all types of different schools, junior colleges, Malloy, Maryland for sure. You got a lot of Queens College kids there. We got a team with with kids from Dominican College of the Rockland County area. So we got guys from all over playing in the league, guys coming out, and that's phenomenal for what we're doing. And Dyckman was really good. Always when I go back to the old home and the old stomping grounds, it's always good. We make sure we did a little VIP scene yesterday because still while they work on the dimensions of the park, it's just so much more comfortable and better to watch the game that way and go from there. So it was really good, really exciting last night. Dominican Power played the second game against the Colorway, which was a very good game. Dominican Power finally won a basketball game. It's the first time in 2-3 years, I believe Dominican Power won a game. I couldn't even believe it until Cha-Ching said it on the mic. I had to turn back to my guy, Alec, who's been, me and him, he sits behind us in the road. He's been coming to Dyckman for years. And he used to live in the neighborhood, but doesn't live too far off now, right there in the Bronx. And I turned to him, I said, Alec, they didn't win last year? And he said, no, and they didn't. I said, they didn't win the year before. You saw the time. He said, they didn't win last year. I said, wow. Holy crap. So it's been like 2.5 years. They didn't win. They finally got a victory last night. And Avlife, Avlife played against, and Avlife is basically French Montana's team, the Bronx squad and so on and so forth. And and did his little video shoot there for Montana, this thing. So Avlife played TMT Showstoppers, which is now just for Dyckman per se, looped up with Interscope Records. And so it's Avlife Interscope Records against Avlife. It was very great atmosphere. I'm pretty sure you see a little bit on Clash TV and online, and guys can go on Clash TV.
Yeah, I managed to catch that on Instagram story.
There you go. See, and the Clash TV is phenomenal because Clash TV has the Isaiah Whitehead League, has the Rucker League, Swin City League, Hoops in the Sun, Dyckman. They do a lot of different platforms. Gersh for Streetball, so that guys can't make it to the park that day, you can make it right there online with your computer or your phone and feel like you're right there in the park with at least the good footage and shots. So Clash was, of course, did their thing there again too, and that's what we kind of do with Crunchtime too. We got a different group. They experimented and did a lot last year in the regular season and postseason. They'll be coming back for our postseason where we live stream the games. You can go on YouTube and type in Crunchtime Basketball, and you'll hear some games that I actually announced and did live streaming with them, with the group and so on and so forth for our season. So that was good for that. And Amadou Diallo showed up last night with his brother, of course, his younger brother, who's all that plays ball too, is a very, very solid basketball player. And the Queens cast is in the house, and we all know how I mean Detroit Pistons, slam dunk champion, left right Queens, New York. Now actually on a very good young upcoming Detroit Pistons team, which many people are very looking forward to see what their future could be. They have a lot of big guards and forwards on that basketball team as well. So, but Honey was in the house. Dyckman was very, very good last night. Of course, shout out to Ken Stevens of those guys, Miss Speed down there. They take care of us. We come there to do the whole thing, and it was a good tournament last night. Good thing. They've been doing a lot of promos. I think I'll poke my head back in there on Wednesday when Skull Gang plays. But Monday, I'm definitely going to go to Pro City. Pro City's going to be big on Monday. So Monday, I'll go to Pro City, check it out. Tuesday, Crunch Time. So I'll do my own announcement thing. Wednesday, go back to the park. Same thing. Thursday, Crunch Time. And Friday, I think I'm going to take it easy because I ain't tell a bunch of people next week's the birthday. So me and my lady's birthday is the same. It's one day apart. So Friday, we're going to just go out and eat and chill and no basketball, no nothing. She ain't going to want me to do no basketball anyway. So Sunday back to Crunch Time. But it's been really good. Summer Ball, you're going down the road to Gersh. It's electric over there. Watson is doing so well. The Cage is doing well. You got so many leagues that are just playing really good right now. Tri-State, UBA, Zone.
Oh yeah, not to mention the fact that Rucker Park is hosting the TBT, the TBT basketball tournaments, and Peacocks is leading American Anthem 36-30. Like literally, it's going on right now. I thought we were done with the Peacock site after the March Madness tournament when they got taken out by North Carolina. Now Peacock Nation's literally trying to do the same thing in the TBT tournament. Oh, man.
They're messing around and make it interesting. I tell you that much. There are a lot of really good teams in there. So I know Rucker has some of the days to showcase some of that up there. That'll be good exposure for them. You know, you got Mike Larry down there. You got Voices City, Voice for City, Rail down there. So that'll be a big showcase for them. And, you know, the work that those guys do with Adidas. And so Rucker will be big for that. The live period is over. The high school kids will be back too. Middle school kids too. So now the tournaments will, in everybody's respective area, will heat up when they have all their big dogs out. I believe ISA is doing their summer league. Like, there's so much stuff going on right now, Rafique, for basketball. It's crazy.
I know you're gonna have a good time when you go to Pro C. You know what? Yeah, you should definitely talk to whoever's in charge of Pro C to come on the show. Not next week because I know you have everything with your wife and like, but the following week when schedule clears up, when the time is right. But that's something we talk about there.
Who do you want to get on?
I mean, we'll talk about that when we get off the air because I don't want to spoil it. But anyways, basketball is just amazing. There's no off season in basketball. I swear.
There isn't. There's no way. That's why even when guys like the NBA season stops, or the way it used to be in general, and guys be like, I'm like, yo, bro, we don't stop this basketball stuff. Like, we take like little breaks. Like after all the summer ball ends and all this stuff, we'll have a little break. Like, we need to have a break. Like Just Hoop, we have a Just Hoop summer league.
Mm-hmm.
That's about to start. That will continue after Crunch Time ends for the summer league. And then we'll take like a 3-4 week little break, and then we start Crunch Time 4 league. You know what I'm saying? That's just for us in perspective. And then now you turn around, middle school starts, high school basketball starts, PSALs is crazy, CHSAA is crazy, you know what I mean? College basketball will now start again, and it don't never end. And then by the time all that over, we're all set, no March Madness, no NBA stuff. We right back in the summer. Then we got to remember the overseas guys. Overseas all year, man. These guys.
I learned that the hard way. I learned that the hard way in 2006. When NBA comes, let me check out the WNBA.
There's no. You said it best. There are no off days for basketball. Like my man Heckler said it last night at the announcement thing last night, and that's one of his lines we always go back and catch before I send it. He said they ought to do it 24/7, or you need a 9 to 5. But if you are a ball player or somewhere in this magnitude of this basketball culture or sports culture per se, this is year round. We talk nothing but the sports show here, but we talk basketball year round. It never ends. You know what I mean? They're right next to let's see, this is my right side, so I guess that's your left side. There's a basketball sitting right next to you on your eloquently made back logo. We never stop talking about basketball. It's always gonna be there. Always.
And that's what's gonna make the future Nothing But the Sports Talk bright. And now up in this episode, Nothing But That Sports Talk. Thank you for stopping by, Ryan Walker. I can't wait to see until you get an evaluation of the Pro Basketball C League so I can get the contact info and cover it sometime down the road.
I'm going Monday. I promise you. I'm going Monday for both games, 6 o'clock and 7:30. I host this. I'm going to just go and watch basketball and take some good pictures. And I want to
let me know how the league goes.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
And by the way, you were looking stunning in that little outfit that you had in the last type of game you went to. And obviously, Cha-Ching decided to be a ladies' man when those women really, he's really a ladies' man.
The guy's a legend, man. And Dyckman is it's a great place to be. It's a great party.
Mm-hmm. And to all the balls out there, congratulations. Sorry that Dyckman had to get taken out by Watson of all teams. And well, of course, Gershpark got a victory. Gershpark got a victory over Lincoln. And I know it hurts, but my Gershpark, you don't roll with Gershpark because it's a hometown for me. Brooklyn. I'm sorry, Dyckman.
They got some good kids. They got some good kids on that Gershpark.
But Chiefin first, I know you hurting. You was originally born Dyckman. I know you hurting. Don't worry about it.
No, we fine. Well, we're still the number 1 seed. So listen, come on now. I think we're the number 1 seed and we're the defending champions. but no, Gersh has got some good kids there. They got that kid, Tyler Jordan going to OSL. Look at that. Listen, Gersh gonna make a run back again. Now, I was wondering what the hell was going on the first week. They needed that bye, and they woke up. And the worst thing to do is to wake a Brooklyn team up. Those kids look like they focused and angry again. So, Lincoln Park better remember that Gersh is still there. Us as well too. Luckily, we got that win earlier. So the only way we would see each other again is if we see each other again later down the road. You know what I mean? But listen, this one is so open because, and I know we were about to end it, but this one is so open with NY Classic this year because every year there's always like big time city kids. And remember, a few kids are coming back after this live period. But there are really good players on every team, and it's balanced. And you see, Watson brought out that kid from Luha, the African kid. Oh my God, that's why Dyckman lost. They couldn't get any layups. The kid, he blocked every shot moving, dunked everything.
You were able to follow that when you were in crunch time.
Correct. You know, I'm still paying attention. He was really, really good for Watson. So they deserve that win. They played really solid to get that win that day. Dyckman still has good guys on the team. You know, they got Sean Fulcher. They got the kid Todd. But remember, Todd, the point guard, wasn't there the live period. And then they got the there's another kid that I see. My kid Randy, who played at Dyckman last night. So they got good keys on the team. They just got to keep it flowing. But with Lincoln, with Kalen Satterfield and Zaire Wells, Westport 0-2. But listen, they still got good players on that team. Not far from out of it. And you still got Tri-State. So this thing is open. I will say I think the top three Hogs are Dyckman, Lincoln Park, and Gersh. Whatever order anybody wants to put it in, per se. But
Dyckman and Gersh combined for one of the first three championships.
100%. And all that was the only championship game at this moment. We'll see if that breaks the trend. But Lincoln and then Jesus Christ, and Watson keeps bringing out that African kid. Oh my goodness. The NY Classic is good. Brooklyn is back with their team. Dyckman is a formidable force trying to defend their championship. And Lincoln Park and Watson should not be slept on. And they're talking about possibly in the future bringing a Long Island team. But I hear that's a lot of talks. We'll see where that goes.
And that's a prime example of a lot of ballers that get your head to the game.